Hey y'all, Vinny OG here. Let's see if I can move this time. I'm still kind of new to this whole thing. Oh, all right, cool. So, figured it's about time to jump into the tier list here. There's a lot of ways this can go, but for now, I want to focus on PvP specifically, although I'll still have some caveats. I know a lot of people kind of skip to the end of a lot of this, but hopefully the descriptions in between and why I'm putting them where they're at help people stick around a little bit. And this isn't obviously nothing's ever written in stone. I'm sure there's version 2.0s, but gonna do the legendaries, gonna do the epics, and kind of focus on their level 6 and 7 respectively. Obviously, the epics have that level 7 ability, and legendaries do not. But the coefficient damage legendaries can get can really make them go crazy. So, as let's just start with the neat so good. Yeah, if we're talking late game and we're talking not really viable, something that you're going to take into clan wars, something that you're going to take into arena. There really is. I'm sorry. I thought you were so cool when I started, but we're starting with Snowman at F. Movement speed doesn't matter. And honestly, the debuff to the attack speed, there's so many attack speed buffs in this game that even even with the level 7 ability, kind of garbage. Um, let's see here. What's a good one to go with next? So there are some use cases for this unit, and again, this is not including any of the blue or commons. Where is it? Come on, drum roll, please. Can I find this unit? You know what? Screw it. Well, I'm looking for that unit. I'll just do this. I'm going to pivot to Poison. Poison Master is freaking good. It's a really good PvE unit. It basically pays for itself if you go into Infinite Wars. It is something that will help drive you up into that 5 million range. So you're getting the forged stones from both the chests. I know I said this was for PvP. I also find it extremely valuable in PvP as well, especially with the extended duration. I'm putting that at a very solid A. Next up, let's just go with the top here and see what I can find from the epic side, since if I'm directly hunting things, it just doesn't seem to work. Here we go. There's probably two legendary troops that are really, truly worth pushing to level 7 and beyond, and one of those is Ursa. Ursa not only has crowd control with the stun, has multi-hit, but has a pretty darn good damage and hit point output as well. Really like this unit. Um, the more you can have, the better. I probably want to have 3 level 7s on the board eventually. That's probably where I'd top out, is having 3 level 7s. But honestly, if you could have a fourth, I don't think anybody would throw shade at that. Yeah, very solid S tier. Very like a core piece and dang near everything, maybe outside of attacking garrisons in PvE. But in Clan Hunt, still really good. You put it in the lineup because it helps kill the units around the main target. I know I said I wasn't going to get into PvE, but oh well. Next, S tier unit. This is probably very predictable. Best legendary unit, in my opinion, is going to be Elven Archer. Elven Archer does a little bit of everything. It does debuffing, it does multi-hit, it has insane damage output, it helps in PvE, it helps in PvP. Effectively, it just goes into everything. And the damage coefficient, when you push it to level 7, is insane. So, love that unit. Highly, highly, highly recommend getting, you know, 1, 2, 3 level 7s of these as you are building your way into a more powerful lineup. Let's see. Next one we've got would be Sakura Ronin. God, I just tried so hard to cope with this and figure out ways to, in training mode, make him work. He has use cases at the beginning when you're getting better, but largely, I mean, just not good. Not a good unit. I put 3 pumpkins up against 3 Ronins, figuring the AoE damage would balance out. It just the pumpkins still seem to win, which brings me to my next unit, pumpkin. Boom. Not even going to mess around with that. Easy A tier. Can pull taunts. The more HP it has, tankier it gets. It doesn't have terrible damage output either, which is great, but effectively moves into just about every build. You can use it in so many different things, even pretty late in the game is still just a great unit to have around. I know people who put it like people who spend a lot of money in this game still run pumpkin in their lineup because of just the ability to pull eyeballs off of some of their main targets when something jumps over. There's going to be a lot of units that are focusing, or there's units that focus, be it your archers, your mages, etc. Units will be coming down in the future. Just great taunt ability, and its range extends in that level 7, which is incredibly useful. So, next up, I love its crowd control. I don't want to say I love its crowd control. I love the idea of this unit, but it, in the end, just kind of isn't my favorite. I think it can fit. It fits into builds, but really, these 2 units. So we'll just do this. We're putting our Wind Apostle at C because there are niche cases. It does have crowd control. It can hit it. There are times where it actually can really shine, and it's fine. It's fine. Next up, I'm gonna go the Ashen Arcanist. I mean, maybe just a little bit better than Ronin. Arcanist suffers from, if it procs, something can just walk right through the proc, so someone has to stay in that area for a long enough time for it to deal that damage. It doesn't, there's nothing flashy about its stats other than if you're kind of again in that PvE side of things, doing damage to wood-based creatures, and even then you're still subbing something else in. Which brings me to the thing you would actually sub it in for is our Flame Mage. Flame Mage, phenomenal unit. Even though I'm going to put it in the B tier, it really is a core unit that has great damage output. I'm not sure if you really want to focus on getting. I don't have any level 7s of these. Its proc chance is fine, I guess. I do think as you really get later into the game, though, its use cases get a little small, especially like with AoE bosses. And again, that's PvE. I know I said I'd stay away from this. Sorry. But still fits really well into a lot of PvP builds because it can output a lot of damage, especially if someone has a lot of wood-based troops in there. So I sip on a little bit of cope with this unit, and I struggle putting him either low B tier or high C tier. I'm probably gonna. This is the one that I struggle with the most, but so I'm just gonna go ahead because I'm super copey with this. I'm gonna go ahead at the very back of B tier Oh, I'm going to get so much pushback on this. Blastdorf, I think, is a very underrated troop. It's no Elven Archer, but it does the physical damage. If you get it to level 7, not only does it base its damage off of the coefficient, but if you surround it with good units, be it Oracle, Weaver, um, or I mean, either of the dragons at level 6 can buff it. And then you also have, yeah, there we go, Starlight Apostle. So it's very reliant on the AoE buffs around it, but I think it can really output damage in the right situation and can help a lot with, again, PvE related monsters, but also it sneaks in some of my lineups too with PvP. So I'm going to go low B on this. I could see it realistically being high C as well. We'll see how it shakes out and how people feel about that. Next up, we are going to go with our, what's a good one to go with next? Let's do Ghost Assassin. The first thing I ever put to level 7 and just regret it. Not that it doesn't have its use cases, not that it doesn't do physical. It does have its, it can shine. It really can, but it's just so unpredictable that you can't really rely on it as a core unit. Though it can kind of tank a little bit, it can flash in the back. I've really tried to cope with this one and having like a front row of assassins followed behind a row of tanks, and then in the back I'll do like a backstab, so it just flips everything over, and then in theory the ghosts are over there just smashing away. I have not had success with it. It just always seems to kind of underperform, even though the theory behind it sounds really good. That said, let's get back into our S tier and go with Oracle. Oracle kicks ass. It's a flame-based unit. A lot of things are weak to fire. A lot of units you'll see that are very useful. Again, Ursa is weak to fire. But really, you're looking for that level 7 Oracle, and to extend that range and get more things buffed, you really can't beat that. It is such a good early unit. The only thing it suffers from is if something hits AoE, like you get a Frost Queen that hits it dead on, a lot of those units are probably gonna die. So it's probably the lowest S tier, even though its ability is insane. And heck, its damage output can sometimes produce as well, but definitely low S tier, maybe high A tier. You can make that argument. Next up, I am gonna go with, yeah, I think so. Healers are freaking cracked in this game. You could probably make an argument it goes here too, and I'll probably put Woodland here. If you get 2 level 7 Woodlands, it's just game over. It is so cracked. It can just do everything. You can put this then in the front row to deal with your tanks. You can keep your mages in the back alive. This is just a bear of a unit. Highly, highly, highly. The only drawback being you can only get this through forging, randomly getting lucky off of forging, or randomly getting lucky on the wheel. So getting enough to have 2 level 7s is just a huge pain in the ass, but just an absolutely cracked unit if you can actually get enough of them. Which leads me into the other wheel-based unit, which I think it doesn't fit in PvP, but with PvE is a great unit. But because I'm ranking this all off of PvP, this unit, Mr. Royal Archer, probably fits right here, I would say. High B makes sense, I think. again, you're always looking for these multiple units being weak to like one big AoE blast, but it can just really complement a lot of other troops in how its ability stacks very well with the other buffs um, that other units have. Let's move to the other unit that I probably just moved away from almost immediately. It does have its niche uses, which is where I struggle. Again, this is probably a high D, low C, but our rock thrower, just because he's got a soft spot in my heart in the early and mid game, I'll put at a very low C. The stun is nice, and maybe if you get enough of them to like level 8 or 9, it's great to have them, but stunning's great. The ability is great to potentially just speed up stun lock. But even at level 7, the proc going off more isn't great. Maybe there's use cases where you can put around and defend and stun lock. Like I've seen it where a Frost Queen jumps over and runs into a rock thrower, gets stunned, and then the Frost Queen doesn't even get its proc off. But are you relying on that on an every case situation? Absolutely not. I'm not putting in the front row either late game because they just get absolutely annihilated before they even hit the enemy line. And maybe in the back row, I guess, but then there's probably other slots you want to have in the back row. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. The one unit I did want to rank in this as well, because this unit can see some late game play, primarily in backstab builds. I see people use it in flanking, but it loses efficiency on flank because half of its damage, especially if a unit, or even if you're in a dash or a flanking format and the opponent uses dash, because it's exploding inwards or outwards, it's losing its effective damage. So you're really using this bomber if you know the opponent in PvP is in a dash formation, and then you can decimate the backline. Super niche. So niche uses for me to go here in the C tier. So S tier fits in everything. A tier, just really dang good. And oh god, maybe I do this. Maybe I do that. Yeah. But still has its use cases, right? So you can make an argument for any of these. I'd say probably fits realistically here, though, because it only really fits into backstab appropriately. I think I see people cope with this in flanking formations, but I think it's just so inefficient and there's other uses for it. So I believe that is the end of all the legendary and epic troops. So hopefully this helps with who you want to target to get to your level 7 and what you should be focused on. I would say, heck, if you're focused on level 7, then I'd put Blastdorf here again because I just am kind of high on Blastdorf. Yeah, you know what? I think that's probably going to be my something like this. Yeah, I think that's probably my final. So if you're focusing on getting your level 7s, I would say Elven Archer number 1, Ursa number 2. I would say Woodland Wizard would be number 1, but it's just so damn hard to come by that. You know, whatever, good luck. But Oracle, phenomenal unit. Poison probably just alone through hunting makes up its weight. And the only real drawback in Pumpkin is the weakness to fire. But once you get that larger taunting range and massive amount of hit points, it can throw hands with just about any of the best tanks in the game. I plan to do the same with the mythicals here. Mythicals are a little different because I haven't played with every single one of them yet, and I certainly don't have all of them to level 6, but have a pretty good grasp of what to do, or how hard they hit at least. So stay tuned for that one, and I really hope that this information was helpful. As always, thanks for listening.